Hello, all of you Vaingloriously wonderful people, and welcome back to Timberborn. That's right, I'm doing Timberborn series again. We'll talk about how long this series will run in just a minute, but I am in the experimental mode because Update 5 is on the experimental branch, and it's pretty freaking awesome, truth be told. I thought that they had said they had updated Helix Mountain. Looks updated. Let's see, where do we want to play? Ooh, God, that looks awful. As does that. I think we will stick to... This one could be okay, though. I see challenges. What about lakes? Lakes would probably be our best bet. I think we can route the badwater. Wait, that's a big new thing, badwater. You can kind of see it. That brownish, orangish color. Yeah, we'll talk about badwater in just a little bit, but I bet during badwater season, I don't know if I can be able to route it out of there or not. This map just had an update too, and then there's Canyon. Maybe we stick with Canyon because the badwater's running that way, and we can always channel it that way. Yeah, let's go with Canyon. It's a bit challenging in the amount of terrain that we have. Ooh, I say that, and now I'm talking myself out of it. Yeah, we're gonna go with lakes, and we'll deal with the repercussions of that. So I play on easy. If that offends you, I'm sorry. Deal with it. And what I'm gonna do is just speed run through this section. I'm gonna speed up the footage. I'll talk over a bit of it, but probably not all of it. I don't know. I'm recording this as I'm about to start building. Can I? Yeah, I can call it Vainglorious. Cool. And, you know, obviously I haven't quite yet done anything, so it's going to be a challenge to know how much commentary I need. Yeah, I can deal with this because the badwater comes out back here, and we should have enough current to keep it at bay, and the same over here. The only thing is, during a badwater season, we will need to come up with a way to control the water so that it all flows this way and not into our district, and you'll see why. But I'm going to go ahead and speed up the footage here, and we're going to talk about what we're going to do with this season. So a lot of this is going to be either a lot of jump cuts where I cut out just where I'm waiting on beavers to build a lot of stuff, or it will be sped up footage like you're looking at right now. I like with the folktales doing the tutorial. It just makes me remember to get everything that I need at the beginning, so I do the tutorial. Even though I don't really need it, I've got several hundred hours in Timberborn at this point, and I always play on easy because my philosophy of games is I really prefer to just enjoy the game instead of beat my head against it. And this makes it easier for me to enjoy the game, so that's why I do this. So the videos will feature a lot of jump cuts while we wait for beavers to build things. Wait on planks to get made. I will invariably fall behind when we're playing, so we'll get stuck. And instead of just sitting here and me talking for 30 minutes while 2 planks get made and nothing happens, we'll just jump cut that or speed it up, one of the two. We'll see how long this series runs. I'm going to record 4 videos. So for sure, through mid-December, towards the end of December, we'll have videos on Timberborn, probably on Fridays, it would be my guess. And if the series does well, if you guys, you know, leave the likes, leave the comments, if it drives any subscriptions, well, then I'll continue Timberborn. If it doesn't do well, if the first 4 don't do well, well, then I'll realize, hey, this isn't what you're wanting to watch on my channel, and I'll just move on and continue live streaming it because I do live stream Timberborn fairly often. I think this year has been my most streamed game. And for good reason. It's such a fantastic game. It really is. So probably hear me clicking around, and that's just me building the stuff that you're already watching. Again, it's hard for me to offer commentary because I don't know how long this is going to run. So at this point, I think we'll just transition to the Timberborn soundtrack and let you watch the remainder of the tutorial session. And that took about half an hour, which was a lot longer than I expected. There is still quite a bit more under construction over here. We've already got potatoes planted for most of this. There is a second efficient farmhouse that you may have noticed that I plopped down, as along with some grillers. And then these are going to be for potatoes and then for grilled potatoes. I like going for those early for the simple fact that it increases well-being. And if we can get well-being up, they work faster, they live longer, they move faster. It's good things all around. So I'm going to spend a few points here because I want to get... And that's new. I don't remember that working that way before, but I kind of dig it that you just click it and it goes to unlock it. But I want to get some areas opened up here, especially... Oh, I thought I had enough. 20 more. I especially want to get over to here to get these trees and maybe even make this secondary just forest so that we have enough wood. Because you can see right now we're struggling with logs, and that's kind of always what happens on this map because there's not a lot of trees to begin with. I mean, we've cut down everything we can reach, and we're waiting on things to grow. Now that we have a forester, we are planting pine. And then we'll get some oaks and some birch and even some chestnut back this way. You may have noticed I have a very uniform grid, and there is one specific reason to do that with folktales. Obviously, don't have enough to unlock it right now, and even if I did, it'd be silly to waste the points because we don't have the paper, and we don't really have that many planks either. But the beehive can cover a 7x7 grid for your veg. Because of that, I like to just build in a 7x7 grid. Well, it's actually 8x8 if you count the road. So that I don't have to think about it. You know, it's just like when I start counting it off, it's just there. Everything's 8x8. So when I'm ready to put in another farm somewhere else, it's just set. And then when I do eventually have paper and enough resources and science points to unlock the beehive, it's not a big deal. So that is why I go for that early. I think we'll just come across right there and bring that path right down there. And then once we can get over here, we will. I even continue my 8x8 grid like across the water. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. There's the next bit of the grid. Obviously, breaks down now and then, but for the most part, it works. And I dig it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sometimes I miscount and I wind up with a wonky grid. Well, if it happens, it happens. But for the most part, I try to stick to that, and that's the reason why. It all just comes around a buff you can get for the crop. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I wish I could just eyeball that. I don't know. Maybe your eyeballs are good at just seeing what's 8. Mine are not. So I do it that way. But we definitely have a lot to get built and not a lot of trees to build it with. It's going to take a while for these trees that we've planted to mature. However, once it becomes daylight, I want to show you like the most adorable thing. If we have, yeah, we have one over here. Cool. They'll come chop this one down. A full-grown tree. We'll keep an eye over to that way to see if they go to that one. Oh, they are. Okay, cool. So before in Timberborn, when these little guys, would cut down the trees, they would just kind of stand by the trees and that was that. They kind of wave their hands at them. Well, now look at that. They actually do a That's how a beaver would cut down a tree. And like the tree even wiggles based upon the interaction from the beaver. And I just think it is such a small detail, but oh my gosh, that's so good. That is just, and then when he's done, he's like, okay, I've got the tree. There was a patch the day I'm recording this, just yesterday, where apparently, like, some of them were getting stuck in the woodcutting animation. That's not the best. Oh, I planted pine there. What didn't I? Did I plant oak? I planted pine there. Yeah, my bad. And now I can't undo that one, so I just gotta do that for now. Yeah, I just think that is such a nice touch to the game to be able to have that. But we are going to have to wait until we have some trees here. Yeah, I could leave this at a whatever minute video it is right now. I've been talking for a total of maybe 15 minutes. And I have no idea how long that time-lapse, we'll call it that. But it'll probably take, I don't know, a minute or two to go by. So, yeah, I don't know. I think we need to just wait for some logs and then go from there. See how we're doing with getting this stuff built. So let's do that, and I will rejoin you once we have some logs. We finally have a tree. 2 trees that have reached maturity, and it's been about 15 minutes that took. So yeah, it's a good thing we didn't just do that as another time lapse, because that would have taken a while. I do have just a few more things planned out, just a couple more paths, and an extra lumber mill, an extra water wheel, and then some power to get power over here, so that we'll have maybe a couple more lumber mills, and also a few more water pumps, because our population is pretty high, and we've only got 138 water. Our single water pump cannot keep our existing ones full. So, obviously, you know, those 4 logs aren't going to do a lot, even though we do have a couple more that are about to come down. It's going to be a long time before we have any oaks. Once they get back here and get the birch planted, we'll be in slightly better shape, though it's not a very big field of birch. And then the chestnuts take a little while as well. But anyways, while we're waiting, and I may wait for daylight before we talk about this more. And so through the power of YouTube editing, it's now daylight. So what is bad water? Well, there's a couple different ways you can encounter bad water, first of all. I love this. Why do we have to clean up the human's mess? All right, they're all dead. I love them. It just reminds you that this is a post-apocalyptic lumberpunk survival city builder game. Anyways, so there's bad water sources that can be on the map. So here we have one. There's another one here, and I think the only other one is there. And they will mix with the water. You can kind of see where they mix, and you can see their effect on the ground. And you may be wondering, is that lava? No, that is basically infected ground. Nothing will grow there. You can build on it safely. It's fine to build on it, but nothing will grow there. And if bad water comes into contact with fertile land, anything that is planted there will die very quick. And I mean very quick. Trees, plants that you put in, you can see like this blueberry, how it's dead. Yeah, they'll wind up dead very, very fast. On top of that, there is now a new season. You can see that we have a drought approaching in 1.8 days. Well, after a few cycles, you also get a chance, and it's a percentage chance, of, instead of a drought approaching, you get a bad tide. And what happens then is your water source begins pouring out bad water. And so you can see why it's now very important to channel your water. Like early on, as quick as I can, I'm going to just make a big old path back here and make some gates here, some gates here, And then that'll probably be enough so that I can close off this side, and when there is a bad tide, shove all that bad water down here until the bad tide's over, and then wait for fresh water to come, and then open these gates back up. I will do gates down here as well, because when there's a drought, the bad water from here is strong enough that it can start flowing up into this area, and we don't want to contaminate that water. So what does bad water do, aside from making the ground look like lava and killing all the plants? It is also toxic to beavers. They will become ill when they are contaminated. Or actually, it just says they're contaminated, and then after a few days, they become sick. And once they're sick, they kind of look zombified and will no longer work. They will continue to consume resources, however. So they become a drain on your society. There is a way to deal with that. The herbalist is back and can make potions from blueberries and dandelions and logs, and then those can be used in the medical bed. The beavers can go rest in the medical bed, and they will eventually recover from being contaminated. The antidote speeds it up. I could be wrong about that. It may be that you have to have antidote to cure them. So you want to keep your beavers out of the water, which can be tricky if you're building things. Like, when I go to build this over here, my easiest way to do it is just going to be run a path through the water and let them run through the water to build it, instead of trying to build stairs and platforms and everything like that. Same back here. Like, if I wanted to have them remove this blockage and then build a wall here to send all that bad water back this way, I could do that, and that would work. But I'd have to be very careful that the beavers never got in that water, so I'd have to build like levees across that they could walk across the top of, or platforms they could walk across the top of and not have to get in the water. So bad water is a bad thing. But you may notice that there's bad water pumps, and there is also the centrifuge that will transform that bad water into an extract, and that extract gets used in a couple of different ways. I want to say, the refinery to make biofuel requires extract. Regular fuel does not, but the biofuel does, and it seems like there's something else. It may be just in the iron teeth, however, that the other stuff is, because I'm not seeing anything else. Oh, there's also punch cards now in addition to books, which I think is adorable. Yeah, that may be it for these guys. There was a way to take the extract and use it in a healer that was available, like a pod that the beavers floated in, that is still available for the iron teeth, but not for the folk tails. And that may be it. You can, however, put a dome over a bad water source, and that will seal it, and you can open and close it at will. You can see it's very expensive, 2,000 science, along with 200 gears and 100 metal blocks. But there's also this bad water rig, which I think is better. Not only does it seal it, but it will extract it for storage for you to use in your centrifuge, in order to make your extract. Oh, I know what else it is that uses. Yeah, that's right. So the other thing that now uses the extract is the explosives. They're not made from paper any longer. They are now made from 5 of the extract. And then if you want, or from bad water, 5 of the bad water. And then there's just regular dynamite that we've always had, but now there's 2 other. This will blow out depth of 2, this will blow out depth of 3, and if you notice, they require you to make a dynamite in the explosives factory and then add extract to them. This one requires 2. So there's uses for bad water. It's not a thing there just to hinder you and be in your way. It is actually useful. The dirt excavator looks like it requires the extract in order to be able to excavate. Why? I don't know. But it's a thing. And I'm pretty sure that for the iron teeth, there's also the ability to create grease And I think it comes from oil and extract. And then the bots use the grease to stay lubricated and help them survive longer. So bad water, bad thing. But it is a useful resource that has changed colors several times. It used to be bright orange, and then it was more like poop brown, and now it's kind of a reddish brown. It still looks like sewage, but you know what? I'm okay with it looking like sewage. It's a reminder, hey, don't go here, it's gross. So I think it works. Our little district is coming along just fine. We have a few more projects to do, waiting to make a place to put the planks. And then, of course, we've got all of this over here to build, which I don't think they've made hardly any progress on. A little bit. Honestly, this should be our priority, and then those should be our priority. So I'm going to bump those up a bit. Instead of spending the logs on the storage, I mean, I know we've got the crop sitting in the ground, and we could, in theory, have that one get built, but that one's not all that important. I also lowered the priority of the stairs because, again, we don't need them right now. They're just kind of a convenience factor. But we're getting wood, and we're getting, we'll eventually get planks once I unpause this. And I went ahead and built way more houses than we need so that we could have some beavers ready to go. You can see we still have 6 empty beds with 7 babies, so that'll give us up to 42 beavers that we can have ready to work. And right now we only have a dozen working, so it'll be a nice thing. I think I did that math right. No, it goes 36 beavers. Yeah, 30 total, and so I added the number twice. Yeah, anyways, it'll give us 36 beavers, which that'll help us with these jobs over here, because that's going to take 2 or 3. That's going to take 3, and then these are each going to take 2. 2 more here as well, and then 3 more there. So that's going to go through them pretty quick. Plus, we've got this guy. Plus, once we get all this built out over here, I want to get some more lumber going. I want to get a forester somewhere central to this that can reach pretty much this whole side. We'll eventually repurpose this for something else, but I think wood is going to be, or logs is going to be our big challenge for the beginning. They went ahead and built that anyway, even though I changed the priority. Did I not change the priority of those? I really thought I changed the priority of those. I know what I did. I clicked workplace priority. Yep. I make that mistake a lot. You would think by now I would have learned, but nope, I haven't. Anyways, I think we will leave it there for today. Again, this series will run for just as long as you're leaving likes and comments, and I'm getting new subscribers from it. And if I don't get those things from these 4 videos that I'm going to make today, I'm going to make them all in one day, probably. Maybe not, though. You know, if over the next month we don't see the series has done that well, that's fine. We just won't do any more Timberborn, and I'll just keep it a thing on my Twitch channel only. But it's a fantastic game. You should buy it. It's great. Still in early access, so there are experimental branches as well as public branches of it. And again, this is the experimental branch. Though update 5 has been going for a while, so I bet it's probably getting close to hitting the public. I don't know that for sure. Just a guess. Anyways, until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.